So now for the final presentation today, I'm going to invite Vibeke and her colleague Lyudmyla to give their presentation, which is about retreat-based experiences which have been offered to some Ukrainian psychotherapists and research linked to that, which Vibeke and her colleague are going to link into the theme for today. Let me just introduce Vibeke and Lyudmyla. Hello, Lyudmyla. I'm pleased to see you. I'm pleased to welcome you to the symposium. That's great. So Vibeke is the head of the secretariat at the Danish Association of Psychotherapists and has been in that role for 7 years. And she's an active member of the European Association for Psychotherapy Working Group, European Room for Listening. And Lyudmyla is a counseling psychologist, and she trained through the SUNY State University in Ukraine and now is doing a postdoctoral research at Aarhus University in Denmark. So welcome to you both. We look forward to what you have to say.
Thank you very much. It's a little bit, it was touching to hear Ole and Anatoly, and I'm very grateful that you were here because you talked about the connection and teamwork between men in this time. And what we are going to present is more about teamwork between women in the time of war. It began, I will just introduce that I was telling a little bit about our project 2 years ago in this symposium, and after that Lyudmyla contacted me and said, hey, I'm in Denmark and I'm doing research, and if you need help, I'm here. And so we connected, and we have done some work together now, and I'll tell a little bit more about it. So if I could get the slides, Martinez. Lyudmyla and I will share this presentation, so I'll start with 15 minutes and then Lyudmyla will take over. Yeah. So I will tell you a little bit about European Room for Listening and retreats under the title Anger, Humor, Connection and Love, and then I put underneath being together and working together, because I think a very important part of this work has been to be able to do something from the right perspective somehow, that we have been very conscious that this is a cooperation between Ukrainian needs and whatever support we can give. I can say a little bit more about that, because in 2023 we were at the, it's too fast. It doesn't work. Yeah, here it is. Okay, in 2023 at the European Association for Psychotherapy have a yearly annual meeting in Vienna each year in March, and I came there and I met Eva de Biała from Poland and Christina Winkler from France and Enver Chesko from Kosovo in this meeting. And Eva, she was calling out for action because she was in Poland. Then I lost the slides.
Sorry, just a second, I will open it again.
It's fine. So Eva was calling for action because she wanted some more European support with supporting Ukrainian colleagues. And we were a group of people who raised our hands and started cooperating. And what we found out we wanted to do was to make an open space, an open online space where we could meet like we do today, and be ears and eyes, and to kind of reflect what's the situation in Ukraine, how it resonated outside of the country, and we wanted to give the feeling of support and that somebody out there really cared. Because in the beginning, the feeling we heard from our Ukrainian colleagues was a feeling of loneliness, and that somehow everybody just left. So we wanted to show that we are here, and we have had this monthly meeting online every Wednesday, 3 hours, and where we were listening, and we found out in this, for me, interesting. It was to see that why I was engaging, why Eva from Poland was engaging, and Christina from France, was that we all had stories from our own background, our parents' stories, and wounds from Second World War, and that we all had a strong urge that we should be able to talk about this, because we all met silence with our own parents. It was better not to speak about it, then it was not there. So we had this urge of, let's talk about it, let's learn. And now we have this fantastic possibility to meet online, to actually do it, and to be there together with these experiences. After a while, after 1 year, we had this group. We were talking about how to develop this work together, and many of our Ukrainian colleagues said that they really needed to get out of the country. They needed a break from the war. They needed relaxation of their nervous system, and so we got this idea that we should make some retreats and invite some Ukrainian psychotherapists, psychologists to France, Poland, and Denmark, and give this opportunity to be in a quiet place for a week during summertime. So we did that the first time in 2024. We had retreats in these 3 countries. In Denmark, we also invited children, so psychotherapists could bring their children also. And we did it again this year in 2025. We also had retreats in France, Poland, and Denmark. And before, in the spring, Lyudmyla, who is now in Aarhus University, she wrote to me, should I do some research on this? Because it would be very nice if we could document some of the work that we do, and show. So why is it? In somehow it's logical that this is important, but at the same time, the world wants documentation these days for everything. So it was, let's make some documentation that can make us able to also to collect funding to do this, to continue doing this, and make summer retreats. Because I got some funding from a fund this year because we made a really nice report last year. So we know now that we need to document what we are doing. So Lyudmyla, she volunteered to do this, and she did a research connected to the summer retreats in France, Poland, and Denmark, and she will tell about this in a little while. So what did we do in these retreats? We invited people for 1 week, and there were different activities, both some it was really important for us that it should be in a nice place. It should be in nice nature to give the possibility to really relax the system. It should not be too organized with too many things. It should be free time for this group of people. There could be some therapeutic elements. We did different things. We did breath work and Lego, building the future in Lego, and singing Danish and Ukrainian songs together. Different small therapeutic elements, and also, like you see on the picture, there was also some work with what are all the negative feelings, and how can we work with the negative feelings and find the energy, get the energy back. So we had also some cultural tourist activities to see the countries they visited, and also to get this feeling of okay, there's a normal world out there. There's something that is just going on as always, which made seemed to be a nice feeling, also to be free somehow. We served good food, and then there was some group activities, but it was important that it was on voluntary basis, so people could say that, because our experience was that the group who came, most of them were really exhausted and tired and needed to relax and sleep and be without activities, actually. So I think we had the first year we had more activities than the second year, because we learned this. So who were the participants? It's psychotherapists, psychologists, it's women, and in Denmark we also had children and teenagers. The participants, we had, through our good contact in Ukraine, we had a process where people could apply to get in the group. And our Ukrainian colleague, she was, two Ukrainian colleagues were looking at the applications and seeing, those in most need should get the possibility. It was not so easy it was a hard work to form these groups, because there were so many shifts inside of the countries. We could feel that now it's dangerous here, now it's not so dangerous here, now these people, and it was a long travel for people to get out if they lived in the eastern part. It's a long and dangerous journey through the country and all the way to Poland to get on a plane to Denmark. So it even getting out of the country is really exhausting. Took some time to form the groups both times, but we are learning new things every time. And then about the funding in France and Poland, it was private crowdfunding. They raised money there inside, and in Denmark, the first year it was covered by the Danish Association and crowdfunding among our members. And then this year we managed to get some funds from a big Danish foundation, so that was really nice. Yeah. A little bit about the topic today. Few words. I lost my slides again. 2 seconds more about the four words for today. Anger. I felt so angry when people first came and told me about their lives. I felt extremely angry about, that my fellow sisters should live with this danger and this insecurity and unsafety, and I got so angry thinking about it. Humor, I have been thinking a lot about humor because, and Lyudmyla and I talked about it, we didn't speak a lot about humor during the retreat. It was not that, it was much more about love and connection. That was what really was important. just to be together and to feel, the secure place and the connection and somebody holding you. So, and then I thought, humor. What is humor? But I think already through these hours we've been together today, I'm already a little bit more aware of what is the humor thing that we are talking about. Because we are talking, is it more for a male thing, a defense mechanism that the men use? But I can hear today, no, that's not the thing. It's more about when do you need it? When do you need the humor? And maybe I think our participants didn't really need it when they were here for relaxation. They just needed love and connection and relaxation, actually. So with these words, I will give over the word to Lyudmyla.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Good afternoon, dear participants. Vibeke, thank you so much for your first part, for the introduction, for mentioning, yes, this last year experience when we met during this symposium. So this symposium, it's a special place for me, because 1 year ago we met here with Vibeke, then we met with Eva and Christine, and today we have already had the results of our collaboration. So it's an honor and pleasure to be here and to speak here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And could you open, Martinez, my presentation?
Just a second.
So while we're waiting for the presentation, I'll start. My presentation, I think I won't mention a lot some new facts. Many of these were mentioned by the presenters, by my colleagues in the discussion group. I just give the scientific proof of the influence of the war on Ukrainians, on Ukrainian psychologists and psychotherapists, and the way how we could support them. We should remember that Ukrainian psychologists and psychotherapists, they experience the influence of war not only themselves, but also through their clients. And that's why they need even more help and support. And as mentioned, my colleague from SUME, Natalia, that psychologists, they are not unbroken. They are broken also, and they need help. And I'm so pleased to have this opportunity to join the dream team with Vibeke in organizing such retreats. And now let's see how it influences the well-being of our psychologists and psychotherapists. Just a moment. So in my presentation, I'll give the overview of the design of the research, and then I'll present survey results, interview results that we conducted, and then some thoughts in the discussion part and our conclusions. So here just the thought that psychologists and psychotherapists, they feel the influence of this war and they need help and support too. The topic of our research, the impact of the retreat-based interventions on the psycho-emotional well-being of Ukrainian psychologists and psychotherapists. And our objective was to examine the effectiveness of the retreat-based interventions in improving the psycho-emotional well-being of Ukrainian psychologists and psychotherapists working under prolonged crisis and war-related stress. This is our research question. And let's pass to the design of the study. It was mixed method study, as I have mentioned. We had a questionnaire, socio-demographic questionnaire. We also had standardized assessment scales. You could see from the slide the name, the titles of these scales. And also we conducted semi-structured interview. Our participants. We had two groups. One group, it was our participants from all three groups, from Denmark, from Poland, and from France. 34 persons. It was our experimental group. And we also had a control group, also Ukrainian psychologists and psychotherapists, but those who didn't participate in the European retreat in August 2025. Almost equal group, 31 persons this group includes. How we conducted it, it was in August, September 2025. For the survey, we used RedCap platform. We had 3 assessments. It was pre-assessment, several days before start of the retreats. Then we had post-assessments. It was the last day of the retreat or first days after the retreat. And we had follow-up assessment survey 1 month after the retreat to know how our psychologists and psychotherapists, how they feel 1 month after. And also we conducted face-to-face interview or Zoom interview. For the Danish group, it was face-to-face interview because I was there in Denmark, and we spoke with the participants the last day of the retreat. And Zoom interview was conducted for the participants from Poland and France several days after the retreat. And now, sorry. These are a bit statistics about the tests we use to prove the significance of our data. And now let's pass to the survey results. So first, what we measured, it was psychological distress. And here on this slide, you could see to the left experimental group, to the right control group. And then in blue, it is first assessment, in orange, second assessment, and in green, it is third assessment, so 1 month follow-up. And you could observe here the difference in experiencing psychological distress, the level at the beginning, and then 1 week after, at the end of the retreat, we could observe the big decline, yes, of the distress. And it's very important that even after 1 month, we could see that this level of distress is significantly lower than it was at the beginning. And to the right, you could observe the results in the control group. And you could see that there is almost no difference, so there is no statistically significant difference between all 3 assessments in the control group. The well-being, we have almost the same tendency with the well-being, just vice versa. I mean that well-being rised after the retreat. Then once after, it became a bit lower, but still higher than it was at the beginning. And the same tendency in the control group, we have no difference between all 3 assessments. The same with anxiety. You could observe the decline of it after the retreat, and also lower level of anxiety 1 month after. I mean, lower in comparison with the level in the beginning. But we could observe a rise in the control group, I mean, 1 month after the rise of the anxiety, and we could hypothesize that there was something happened in Ukraine that influenced both these groups, and this influenced this rise of anxiety. Interpersonal sensitivity, also nearly the same tendency with interpersonal sensitivity. Somatization, also the same. Positive emotions. We could observe the rise of positive emotions maybe not so big rise, but still statistically significant rise 1 week after the beginning, at the end of the retreat. Negative emotions. There is even a bigger difference. Yes, we have the bigger difference in negative emotions. I mean that after the retreat, they declined significantly. And now let's pass to the interview results. In the interview, we asked our participants about also their influence of the retreat, the effects that they feel, that they experience after. What was it? And here you could observe the list of these changes that our participants experienced, that our participants shared with us during the interview. To the right, you could see the number of participants who mentioned these effects and the percentage of the participants. We are pressed for time. That's why I want to read everything. I think that you could see it from the slide. In both languages, you could read these effects. And the second part here. Just a moment. And the second part also, the second part of retreat effects. I think then during the big discussion in some time, we'll have here, we could maybe go back to these results and maybe discuss it and speak about connections, anger, humor, and love. And also we asked our participants during the interview about the resource components of the retreat. So what influenced these changes that were mentioned in the previous slide. And you could see here the list of these resource components for our participants. Also to the right, you could observe the number and the percentage of the participants that mentioned these components, and you could see that a sense of care has the first place, and possibility, for example, to participate with children also is very high here. The influence of nature, the voluntary participation in group activities, as Vibeke mentioned, and also the rest. Here, the second part of the resource components, and we could say that this value of the connection is very important. We could observe it from the results of the interview, that connection is extremely important. And there is the third part of the resource component. So you could see that a big list of the components, 25 components, 25 things that were very useful for our participants and influenced in a positive way their well-being. And as I mentioned, several thoughts for the discussion. Many resource components of a retreat are grounded in human relationships and attitudes with among participants, with the group, and between participants and the organizational team. It's important to maintain a balance between group activities and free choice time, as well as between creating space for discussion trauma and providing opportunities to take a break from trauma-related topics. Employing nonverbal psychotherapeutic techniques for emotional release tend to be less traumatizing. Participation with children affects the possibility of allowing oneself to rest, as parents naturally prioritize meeting their children's needs. In retreats that include children, it's crucial to provide separate spaces and design some tailored activities for each age group. And our conclusions. Retreat-based interventions significantly improve the psycho-emotional well-being of Ukrainian psychologists and psychotherapists working under prolonged crisis and correlated stress. The positive effects of the retreat tend to decline over time, which may be related to ongoing war-related stress experienced both personally and vicariously through professional engagement. And the third one, sorry. Just a moment. This tendency highlights the need to make retreats a regular practice for psychologists and psychotherapists working under prolonged crisis and war-related conditions. For example, every 6 months. And thank you very much for your attention. And you're welcome to ask your questions during the roundtable.
Thank you so much, Vibeke. Thank you so much, Lyudmyla. This is a really important piece of research, so thoroughly conducted, and will be really valuable for now, but also for the future. What are the ways to help Ukrainian psychologists and psychotherapists recover in the later stages of the war or when the war is ended? This will be really useful research for future work. So it's wonderful that it grew out of the European Room for Listening, and it's a really clear, significant result. And thank you for the clear way in which you've presented it to us. It's really
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you so much.